Shalom, everybody. This is Olivier Melnick with Shalom in Messiah Ministries, and I want to talk to you today about how deep anti-Semitism really goes. It goes much deeper than we all realize. At the root of the word anti-Semitism is the word Semite. And the Semites were the descendants of Shem, one of Noah's 3 sons in the Bible. In Genesis 6:10, we read, and I quote, "And Noah became the father of 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth." Close quote. The Semites were the ancestors of both the Jews and the Arabs. If someone is of Semitic descent, it means that they are either Jewish or Arab in their lineage. It is worth noting, though, that when the word is used as the compound word anti-Semite or anti-Semitic, it never includes the Arabs, but just the Jews. So before I go any further, I would like to invite you to subscribe if you appreciate the videos. It really helps us. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, share with your friends. We need this to go to as many people as possible. So thank you for that. So the definition for anti-Semitism that I have arrived at after more than 2 decades in that field is as follows. And I quote, "Anti-Semitism is the irrational and demonic hatred of Israel and the Jewish people characterized by thoughts, words, and or deeds against them." Close quote. Now, it was satisfactory to me for quite a long time, until a few years ago when I decided to add 2 words that have become critical to that definition: irrational and demonic. In all the volumes I own on that topic, which is more than 400, closer to 500, I have found almost no scholar or theologian mentioning a spiritual component to anti-Semitism. I have learned much over the years about the history, geography, sociology, and the morphing of the oldest hatred, but I extremely rarely see the spiritual aspect of it all being addressed. Yet we have to recognize that anti-Semitism is very irrational, and that is because it is from Satan himself. It is actually not that complicated. I believe that Satan adheres to a pre-tribulational, premillennial view of the end times. He actually knows the Bible better than most of us. And as a result, he is well aware that at the end of the tribulation, when surviving Israel calls upon Yeshua, the Messiah returns with the saints, with the believers, who would have been raptured 7 years prior. And this is pretty much the end of his career. Satan's career comes to an end at that point. Think about it. Yes, my friend, Yeshua will not return until Israel calls upon him. According to Zechariah 12:10, we read in Zechariah 12:10, and I quote, "And I will pour out on the house of David and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem the spirit of grace and of supplication, so that they will look on me whom they have pierced, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only son. And they will weep bitterly over him, like the bitter weeping over a firstborn." That is when Israel corporately says, "Baruch haba b'Shem Adonai," blessed is he who comes in the name of the Lord, that Yeshua returns. At that point, Satan's career is over. And as I have mentioned many times before, he really doesn't care for his retirement plan. Simply put, Satan will do anything and everything he can to prevent Yeshua from returning. And since he understands that it is hinging around Israel calling on the Messiah, Satan has worked overtime and continues to work overtime to destroy the Jews and to turn the church against them. It is fair to say that he has done a lot of damage toward that goal so far, but we would be naive to believe that anti-Semitism only affects Israel and the Jews. That would be very naive. Anti-Semitism is now crossing all borders. I believe that not only does anti-Semitism affect the Jewish people globally, but it also but it's also becoming a threat to the friends and supporters of the Jewish people and of Israel, globally as well. It used to be that anti-Semitism affected Jewish people in Israel and abroad. In fact, prior to 1948, it only affected Jewish people in a diaspora. But soon after the creation of the modern state of Israel, the actions of Israel became, by proxy, the actions of all Jews across the globe. Today, no Jew is exempt from the danger of global anti-Semitism. And we've seen it pick up a lot of momentum recently. Now, even though they might be removed from whatever Israel is accused of, no Jewish person is exempt. But it goes much deeper than a global hunt on the Jews. If you support Jewish people or display any visible sign of support for Israel, such as signs, flags, or written statements, you now become a target. In the eyes of the anti-Semites, you have chosen sides, and since you support the oppressor, you have become a guilty co-perpetrator of crimes against humanity, oppression, apartheid, occupation, and genocide. Incidentally, these accusations are the very actions of the enemies of Israel, and yet Israel is being blamed for all of it. How irrational and demonic is that? Jewish historian Baior writes, and I quote, defamatory terms such as settlers, occupiers, Nazis, and occupied Palestinian territories project a demonic character onto Israelis that evoke the anti-Jewish verbal violence of the Nazis. I agree with her. We truly are in a repeat of the 1930s and 1940s. And while I thought it could not get any worse, I was corrected a few days ago when I found out what happened at Cambridge University in England. A pro-Palestinian group slashed and spray painted a century-old, priceless painting of Lord Balfour. The red paint was supposed to be a symbol of the genocide committed by Israel against the Palestinians in Gaza. Nobody's talking about October 7th anymore. Lord Balfour was the British statesman who penned the now famous Balfour Declaration in 1917 while serving as Foreign Secretary, giving the momentum for the birth of the modern state of Israel. So naturally, in the eyes of those who hate Israel and the Jews, the painting had to go. So this is how delusional anti-Semitism has become. You no longer need to be Jewish or Israeli or Christian Zionist or even a supporter of anything Jewish to be a target. Nobody even cares about the artist who created the painting. Nobody knows who he is. His name is P.A. de Laszlo. He was a British artist from Hungary who was very famous, actually, for painting big-time famous world leaders. What I find ironic is that he also painted a portrait of an Italian dictator, Benito Mussolini. But apparently, that painting is safe because everybody knows that the crimes of Mussolini don't even come close to those of Israel against the Palestinians. Right? Seriously, how much history needs to be rewritten before the world realizes that George Orwell's 1984 novel is no longer fiction? What will the destruction of art accomplish except to bring the world one step closer to a cancel culture and a revised history? When we allow people to sterilize any historical record they disagree with, we are giving more power to those who want to destroy the people they feel are in the way of their neo-Aryan ideology. Now, if you think that this is only related to Israel and the Jewish people, think again. If the Jewish people are indeed the canaries in the coal mine of civilization, well, my friend, the bird has died and no one is paying attention. We do need to pay attention. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Until next time, shalom and be blessed.